So our next speaker, we'll move on to our next speaker, is Kathy Fredrickson. Her presentation is titled Sending Out an SOS, Teaching Students to be Consultants for Small Businesses in Times of Crisis. So Kathy is an educator and consultant who led teams to nationals twice for the National Student Advertising Competition sponsored by AAF. Now in her 18th year at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, she teaches multiple courses in digital marketing in the digital marketing emphasis. Kathy co-founded Women in Technology of Wisconsin and delivers workshops for the Green Bay Packers Mentor Protege program. She earned her BBA from University of Wisconsin Whitewater and has an MBA from University of Wisconsin Oshkosh with honors. So we're really grateful to have her here today and invite Kathy to the stage.
Hello. Good almost afternoon, right? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Do I need to share my screen or do you have something I can click on for my slides to go up?
Should be there. I believe they're preloaded. Chad on our end, are you able to help with that? You know, Chad's helping with that. If not, you can share your screen.
Ah,
there we go.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
thank you.
It's great to join you guys today. Learned so much this morning. I was able to listen to the first two presentations. The last two I'll catch in the recording. So today I'm going to talk about small businesses and their cry for help this year. This year I launched the Digital Marketing SOS project, and I'm really excited to share it with you all today. All right, we've got the state of support for small businesses. The Paycheck Protection Program depleted in 14 days. We still have round 2 kind of hovering around for small businesses. Facebook ad grants, the window of applications closed within the first month of announcing they had grants. I also do consulting, and can you hear me? No audio for someone. Hello? Okay, people can hear me. Sorry about that. Okay, so the Facebook ad grants, they were depleted in a month. The response was overwhelming. So this really sent businesses into a state of distress. In my state, the Wisconsin Economic Partners asked small businesses how long it would take before jobs would return to the pre-pandemic levels. 23% said it would take more than 3 years, which is significant. To complicate matters, small businesses struggle with dedicating time to address their digital marketing needs. So I said to myself, in about March of this year, Houston, we have a problem. 58% of small businesses spend 5 hours or less a week on digital marketing, and that was before our pandemic. With that in mind, I sent out a call on LinkedIn. I said, small business owners, I have 31 digital marketing students. Do you need some help? Within 72 hours of sending out this call and the corresponding graphic, our roster was filled for the semester. Here were some of those responses. So we heard from manufacturers, yes, I'm looking for help. I'm a custom fabrication business. We heard from consultants. We heard from nonprofits. I work with the community coalition. I would love to work with your students. We heard from national consultants. So Shema Hyder is the CEO of Zen Media, extremely well known. She said, if you have a stellar student who'd like a paid internship, have them reach out. Great side story. One of my students did get her virtual internship, and she's based in Texas. We're in Wisconsin. I had alumni who were saying, let's learn together. This is a great project. Small businesses, take advantage of this. So what makes the project unique? I developed a strategy and a program that addresses the stress of small businesses It brings together that instructor expertise, the client need and their deficits, and then a really critical component is that student personal branding. It allows the students to identify the weaknesses in digital marketing for a real client on 12 measurable areas. So according to research that's been done in the field of work-ready graduates, the two immediate need, significant demand, and I heard the previous speaker touch on this, significant demand, shortfall of supply, but social media, the content creation, the curation, and content development, which is the writing. So the project provides that focus for the student, it provides that instructor expertise, and it provides the reflection piece with the student doing a blog post at the end to build up their student personal branding. The project provides the student and the small business a chance to interact in the strategic level. For example, small businesses struggle. They may be focusing on awareness without investing energy on conversion. The reason behind these issues for a small business is the lack of a T-shaped marketer in their organization, either as a consultant or an employee. This project develops a T-shaped marketer. So T-shaped marketing refers to a marketer who has a broad knowledge and a wide range of digital tactics and in-depth knowledge in 1 to 2 specific areas. So for this example, this marketer has a broad knowledge, email, display, video, SEO, social, and then they go deep within the SEO. This project develops a T-shaped marketer. Let's dive into the project. It's an 8-week project. What I have found as an instructor is that students, they're really not fully invested in a project if it is only really reviewed by a faculty member and no one else. Adding activities where professionals produce the videos to explain the content captures the student's attention. The interaction directly with the client, it deepens their commitment. And then finally, in the week 8, publishing a public blog post gives the student time to reflect on the decisions that they made as a virtual consultant. So these shared responsibilities have good outcomes. Of all of the projects during COVID, this project received the highest overall grade from my students. So the learner, they pass through, they understand the concepts, they get the experience, and then time for reflection. Let's kick off and look at the first step. So the kickoff is a video conference where the student is introduced to the project. The key with this is the student has to agree on one goal and one landing page of the project. We can't do it all in one semester for a small business. So focus is the key. And as an instructor, it is really critical for you to let the students lead. They are leading this project. They have the framework. They have the knowledge that they're gaining with the student materials and applied activities. It is really important for that student to lead to gain ownership in the project. This project aligns really, really well with the student digital marketing essentials. So for example, the honeypot of SEO is covered in chapter 4. They go through keyword, URL, title, H1, main content, alt text. This example is for a company called Social Station. They do pedal tours in Appleton. So it's pedaling on a bike and drinking. Nobody's driving, they're just pedaling along. Well, they have, in the URL, they have only tours. So the students did keyword research, they used SEMrush, and they suggested pedal tours, which is more refined. So from there, they made the recommendations on title H1, the main content with the density and alt text. So it's a really good alignment between the essentials textbook and the actual project. So for high performing students, it's really important to give them the opportunity to have those moments of extra credit opportunities. So if the student and their partner develops, so if they develop 2 ads, they will get 5 points extra credit. But what's really key, what I found students needed to learn with this, oh, it's SEMrush, S-E-M Rush. So what's really, really key is that they know that this ad needs to take them to the landing page, not to the home page, but that landing page that they're optimizing. The project aligns with the email course content. So the students are thinking strategically. This is week 2. When we went online, obviously that in-person component was gone. So I approached alums who are content matter experts in each of the sections that I teach in the class to see if they would do a video recording of email marketing in this case and a project. So with that, Ben was the alum that did email marketing. He really forced the students to think strategically. Look at the makeup of the list for your client. Is there potential to use email to increase traffic to the landing page? And with that video resource, the students had something that they could go back to. They're hearing from a content matter expert. And with their emails, he actually selected the top 3 that he felt were the best put together and commented what those reasons were. All right, we are headed into now the midway point of the project. So it aligns with the social media course content. Students are thinking strategically again. I have them perform an audit light, which goes through the audience analysis, internal, looking at the footprint and looking at the channels, looking at who has authority to post, and then the competitive. So again, they have to make recommendations to drive traffic to that landing page to have focus. This is, again, has a custom video. I have an alum contact who works for Facebook Corporate, and he came up with a really great video and worked with me on a project to really emphasize and deepen the learning of social media marketing. We're on to weeks 5 and 6. So we've got 2 weeks devoted to reputation management and influence marketing. I know the last speaker was talking about those micro-influencers. Just it's such a very interesting space. And so we explore what a small business can do in that space. I use as a resource a podcast from the AMA and have a discussion in Canvas with my students about influence marketing to solidify that learning. They also evaluate the online reviews of their client and provide recommendations. So we're on weeks 5 and 6, moving right along. So week 7 is critical. Students should be nearly complete with their projects. Now, it's an 8-week project. Some students are extremely organized. Other students, I will be honest, waited to the last minute. So the Ask the Instructor week is critical. This is the time where the teams have to initiate video meetings with the instructor. If the team has not contacted me, I'm emailing them and we're scheduling a time. Virtual office hours worked extremely well to set time aside for a status meeting. Finally, the reflection on the experience, describing the aha moments in a blog post. This will highlight for the students, they need to reflect on those tough times. There was times, you know, they were confused, and how did you overcome and achieve focus for your client? For the business, it's critical because they can highlight that business. It gives some promotion for the business, and the business in return can give a testimonial to the program on the experience that they had with our students. So that week 8 is when that final blog post is due. Do students work with separate companies or they work on the same company? Pros and cons. Actually, I'm going to save that for a couple slides later. I'm actually going to give you a rundown of the companies that my students were matched with. but they had the option of working in teams of 2 or individually. So we'll get to that piece a little bit later. This is a student in her published blog post. Here she did a great job. So she and her partner, Sarah, who she tagged on LinkedIn, reflected on their experience, and they really described how they improved the search engine optimization for their client. This is the pedal tour company. She thanked me, which was very nice. Gives a plug for the program and what we're doing. She tagged her client. She tagged the company. She tagged the city of Appleton. So she really did a great job of tagging and making the best use of that LinkedIn post. She used hashtags, professional hashtags. Again, with that triangle I presented at the beginning, this student piece of personal branding in a very professional way on social media is critical and really a highlight of the project. Again, here's the timeline from the kickoff, from learning about email with video help from alums, from social media, reputation management, the Influence Project, which is a podcast from the AMA, Ask the Instructor Week, and then the blog post that's due. We had Ron ask about the students and clients represented. So I mentioned that within 72 hours of posting this to LinkedIn, the roster was filled. Here's the clients. So most of my students are juniors and seniors. What's very significant about our digital marketing class is there is no prerequisites. So I have students that are graphic arts students. I have nursing students who want to know more about marketing. I have a criminal justice student who possibly wants to become a public information officer. So being very organized and getting these students to understand the process, to use the student resources, to use the video resources, to follow the program, really develops these skills. And I look at this as opportunity rather than a challenge. It's an opportunity to have that tapestry of different thoughts from students. So you'll see most of them paired up. So, you know, for the Medicare client, counseling client, change management consulting, some students in the digital environment chose to do the project on their own. Really for a digital environment that worked really well. Some students wanted to remain connected with one student, and then others wanted to complete it on their own. Did the clients selected need to have prerequisites to qualify? Yes. The clients selected need to have a website for one, more than just a homepage. They need to have a landing page of a product or a service that my student can optimize. And the client needs to have at least 2 social media channels that they're active on. The 12 digital marketing areas evaluated. So here's the honeypot of SEO right here. So as an instructor, I need to constantly get better with my students every semester. As you see, the cumulative score of alt text is the lowest. So what that says to me is that next semester, I need to spend a little bit more time on alt text, what it's about, how to incorporate a keyword. So that was the lowest score there. The deficits in digital marketing, so the students look at the social audit and social messaging. It's not surprising. Becoming a marketing strategist takes practice. It takes expertise. My students scored lower on the auditing piece, which means that as an instructor next semester, I need to spend more time on the audit. The messaging, they did really well. Students are actively engaged in social media 24/7. They love to be creative, so they did a good job on the messaging. It's also interesting on the offsite SEO, the students really understood that you need to have the offsite links to your social channels, but they weren't really putting in context the natural outbound links that would make sense for the landing page, maybe to a trade association or a previous blog post on the website, on another website, things like that, offsite SEO. Okay, rigor and quality. So we've heard a lot about rigor and quality this morning, certainly in an online environment. So putting it online, the average score in quizzes was still a B, which that's the baseline that I do set. The email activity, as I mentioned, that had a video component was a B. The average grade for social media activity was low. I really looked into that activity to see where students struggled. Some of my students do not come in with design experience, obviously. They're nursing students or criminal justice students or communication students. So where I really need to help the students here is provide some templates for them. And Ad Parlor is a great resource for that. It is free to a certain degree, but I'm hoping that I can get some more connections with that organization. But yes, the initial part is free. Influence marketing, so that also went very well. Again, I mentioned earlier that the average score on this project was the highest of all projects, which was great. The students were invested. And in COVID, we were all evaluating how our students were performing. I do consider this a success that one of the 31 students did not complete the course. So we had a really good retention of everyone. Client feedback. So clients really helped out the students. They helped out their business. They helped out our program, either by doing text messages on LinkedIn, tagging the students. I had one client provides holistic health services, and she wanted to do a video on how my students could prepare for a video presentation. This was at the bottom was an email from a nonprofit saying that, you know what, seeing all these pieces that go into digital marketing and understanding them now helps us really launch a rebranding effort as an organization. Again, that critical component, students building their professional brand in social media. It's got to be more than just me that's talking about the projects that we're doing. It has to be the student talking professionally on social about their projects and the client. So the clients, they were doing text. I hope that in the future they'll provide images of some of the work that was done on their end as a result. And then of course, video would be awesome. But this is the matrix of, the messenger and the format, which we know that video rocks. And certainly when you have 3 constituents that are talking about your program, it pays off. So with a final thought, imagine the impact we could make for small businesses. According to Analytics Mary, she has presented at Stukent before. She mentioned a couple summits ago, a statistic that's always stayed with me. 25% of our AACSB business schools offer digital marketing. That's not enough, but that's where we're at. So if that puts us to 218 schools, imagine if 10% of those schools would adopt the SOS program. We could help up to 700 businesses in 1 semester. And with a final thought, when you support small business, you're supporting a dream. And that's something we can all feel good about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That was great. That was great. So please type in your questions if you have any follow-up questions. I thought that was really insightful. I appreciate you sharing inside your classroom and in your course and what goes well. Some of the questions I have, what have you changed? What adjustments have you made? You've been running this for quite a while, I'm assuming. How has it changed over time, and what are you doing differently that maybe if someone goes to what are some of the struggles you ran into that you changed so they don't have to go through those struggles as well?
Well, it's interesting. I've taught digital marketing now for 4 years. Cumulatively, I've been an instructor everywhere for 18. So I've taught in the journalism department, I've taught in radio, TV, film, and obviously the business school is my home. So what I have seen changed is the need to engage multi-platform. Think about how students behave. They are on a FaceTime call with a friend while they're doing schoolwork. It amazes me. They are digital natives to the nth degree. And when you have multiple formats, if you're using podcasts, if you're using video, if you're using Facebook groups, they like that. That's how they take in information. One thing I found out in COVID is that they're really open to embracing even the older platforms. So my generation, Generation X, we are proficient in Facebook. And I said to the students, let's do a Facebook group. Here's where I will give you a video agenda of what's coming up. So I found that they turned on the notifications for Facebook and they responded quicker from Facebook group than they did through email. I found that they preferred to do discussions in Facebook group rather than in Canvas. And I'm keeping actually the Facebook group because the students recommended that I do that. And I'm actually keeping the students from last semester who are curious and want to see the work of the future semester students. They've lived it, they've done it. So it's a private group. We don't allow any other people in. The only professionals we have in the group are the professionals that you saw in this presentation that produced the email and rated it and produced the social media videos. So I have found that it's super important. I mean, and you have to embrace video. You have to be okay with, like, I have a big whiteboard in my office that it's the same whiteboard. And that's what, in the classroom, I'm all about the agenda. I'm all about staying organized and staying on task. And I deliver that agenda now in video format, and they appreciate that.
I really, I think it goes on with, what Brad was speaking, our last speakers, about just like being real. And sometimes I think when you're the one making the video, you want it to be very, very professional. It has to be perfect. But it does come off, people, authenticity comes off really well. And so sometimes when there are those little mistakes or you're not perfect on camera, it comes off really, really well. So I like that insight. There's a question by Kathy. She said, is the SOS program a national program?
Gosh, I hope so.
Or is this
I'm in Wisconsin. I absolutely love being a Wisconsin resident. And if you do some history on our UW system, we founded the Wisconsin idea over 100 years ago. The Wisconsin idea is that we have a civic responsibility to our community as universities. This, I felt, is a responsibility for us to help small businesses. And if this can be a national program, I absolutely love it because it embodies the Wisconsin idea. So imagine if we'd have schools adopt this program. I'm happy to share all of the resources, the rubrics, the plan, the way that you introduce it to businesses. All of the videos, I'm willing to share all of those resources.
If they're interested in connecting with you, so we'll share, as much as we can. What's the best way to get in contact with you?
Either LinkedIn or my email is frederick@uwosh.edu.
Perfect. There's another question that said, was the deliverable to the company a digital marketing campaign? And if so, how long was the campaign? Was it 1 or 3 months or how long? What was the deliverable?
I'm going to go back to this timeline. So it really starts with that keyword in the landing page. So most all of the small businesses get it wrong. They either have, here's our /services, and they have all their services listed. So it's really honing in on a specific product or service and then making those landing page recommendations and then providing recommendations on the types of emails that would be appropriate to their audience to promote that landing page, the social media posts to promote that landing page, and looking at, could there be some influencers or a way to get that momentum of online reviews to promote that landing page. What's really nice is the company has a template now, and now they can build it out for all their other pages, looking at that process. So it's a process, yes.
Yeah, process, great resource for them though. You might have answered this one, but I just want to make sure it gets answered if I missed it. Did the clients selected need to have any prerequisites to qualify?
Yeah, we did have that question earlier, and I'll repeat it again because it's really important. Because some small businesses have just a homepage and it just scrolls all the way down. That's not going to work. You actually need to have a landing page. So it has to be a landing page that's your product or your service. Some students decided to do the blog as is an acceptable landing page if they have something very specific that they wanted to promote on their blog site. So it's got to be some sort of landing page, and social is critical. That it's got to be at least 2 channels.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, that was great. I think that was all the questions. I think I got them all. So, Kathy, really appreciate your time and your preparation, and really impressed with the work you're doing and helping these small businesses while providing great experience for your students. So great job on and your, what students are looking for in educators. So great work. Appreciate your time today.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.